Welcome to our Channel Beast Whisperer. I'll never forget that afternoon. The sun was sinking low over Kruger National Park, casting long golden rays across the highway. It was that strange hour between day and night when everything feels half asleep and half awake. Traffic was thick, people rushing to make it out of the park before nightfall, their cars lined up like beads on a string, headlights flickering to life. And then, out of nowhere, the line of vehicles jolted to a standstill. I was the highway patrol officer on duty that day. Name's Marius. Been working this stretch of road through Kruger for nearly a decade, and I thought I'd seen it all. Elephants crossing, leopards lounging near the barriers, once even a rhino blocking a tourist bus. But what I saw next stopped me cold. A lion cub, alone, barely larger than a Labrador pup. Wandering straight into the road, completely oblivious to the danger of the machines surrounding him. He had come through a break in the reserve's fence, something that happens now and then during storms or when animals gnaw at the wire. But this cub, he didn't run. He just froze, his wide amber eyes reflecting the headlights, his tiny body trembling in place as honking horns and screeching tires surrounded him like a chorus of chaos. People were panicking. Some braked hard, others just stared. No one dared get out, not with a wild animal in the middle of the highway. I understood that fear, but I also saw something different, something lost and frightened, something that looked a lot like a child unsure of the world. I radioed in the incident, told them I was close and would assess before backup arrived. I parked a short distance away, got out slowly, and started walking toward him. My boots crunched on the asphalt. Every step I took, he flinched slightly. The noise was overwhelming for him, and I could see it, his ears flat, his body lowered to the ground, trying to make sense of the blaring sounds and strange smells. I raised a hand to the line of drivers and signaled for silence. A few understood and turned off their engines. The horn stopped. The road grew eerily quiet except for the nervous whimpers of the cub. I crouched low and spoke gently, just like I would with a scared child. I don't even remember the words I said, just soft murmurs and quiet tones. "It's all right. You're okay now. No one's going to hurt you." He looked at me, curious but unsure. Then, something shifted. His shoulders relaxed. He sniffed the air. I took another step. Still low, still slow. The cub didn't back away. I extended my hand and let it hang there, an invitation. He hesitated, then stepped forward, his nose twitching as he sniffed my palm. I held my breath. Then he rested his head against my hand. In that moment, every car on that road seemed to stop breathing. There was no applause, no cheering, just silence, a stillness that felt sacred. I gently lifted him up. He was light, too light. I scanned the tree line, searching for any movement, any sign of a mother lion, but saw nothing. No rustling, no sounds, just the still park beyond the fence. I placed the cub carefully in the back seat of my cruiser. He didn't resist. He just laid there, curled up like a lost child in a strange house. I drove toward the station near the park's edge, glancing at him through the rearview mirror. He let out small whines now and then, the kind that break your heart. At the station, my colleagues stared in disbelief. Wild animals weren't exactly our everyday guests. We set up a temporary shelter, a large animal crate we usually use for stray dogs. We padded it with blankets, added a bowl of water, and some meat our ranger friend Thabo had dropped off once for a similar case. The cub curled up immediately, shivering a little, but clearly exhausted. I sat with him a while, just watching him breathe. That night, I called the reserve's management. They agreed to launch a search for the mother at first light, but I couldn't sleep. Not with that cub's face burned into my thoughts. He had the look of someone waiting to be found. By dawn, I was back on my feet. The cub was alert but quiet, still watching the door. That's when Thabo arrived, a wildlife rescuer with the kind of calm that made animals trust him instantly. He brought tracking gear, emergency supplies, and hope. We planned the search together. It had to start where the cub was found. If the mother was nearby, she'd be there, looking, hoping. We drove slowly with the cub in my lap. His nose twitched the moment we reached the breach in the fence. Thabo stepped out and started scanning for tracks. We followed the fence line for nearly 3 kilometers. Every few hundred meters, we paused to let the cub sniff around, hoping he'd catch something familiar. Eventually, Thabo froze. "Marius," he whispered, pointing to a spot up ahead. There she was. A lioness, pacing behind the fence like a restless ghost, her body tense, her ears flicking. She was sniffing the ground, moving back and forth with urgency. Her coat was dusty, her eyes wide, but when she looked up and saw us, something in her posture changed. Thabo and I exchanged a glance. We opened the vehicle gate slowly. I got out, holding the cub gently. The lioness stiffened, then took a cautious step forward, her eyes locked on the cub. I set him down carefully, heart pounding. The cub hesitated for just a moment, then let out a cry. The lioness answered instantly, a deep guttural sound, part growl, part relief. The cub ran. She met him halfway, nuzzling him with such force that he toppled backward, then leapt forward again, pawing at her chest, tail flicking. She licked his face over and over, circling him protectively. I stood frozen. It was beautiful, that kind of raw reunion you don't often get to witness. We backed away slowly, giving them space. Before leaving, Thabo called in a team to repair the damaged fence. No more holes, no more separation. And that was the end of it. But not really, because I still think about that cub. I think about how small he looked in that back seat, how he leaned into my hand, how his mother never gave up looking for him. There's a part of me that wonders, if it hadn't been me on duty that day, if someone had panicked, would that cub have survived? Would that mother have wandered for days, searching for something she'd never find? We spend so much time thinking we're the ones protecting nature, but sometimes it protects us, teaches us, reminds us. That lioness didn't speak our language, but her actions spoke louder than any human words. About loyalty, about love that never stops looking, about how even in the wildest places, the bond between a parent and child is sacred. Sometimes, all it takes is a little silence, a little patience, and the willingness to kneel down and speak softly to something that doesn't understand you, yet still trusts you. That day didn't just save a cub's life. It changed mine.